A very good morning to you. Firstly, tell us the questions that this project seeks to answer.
Hello?
Yes, good morning, Prof. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes. I can barely hear you if the background music can be removed.
I see. All right, Prof. We'll try and fix that for you. In the meantime, let's see if I can get that question to you. Is the sound a bit...
It's now pure. There was that music.
All right.
Yeah.
Sincere apologies for that, Prof. Let me rephrase my question to you again. So the question I'm asking you is, what does this project, the Indlulamithi project, what are the questions that it seeks to answer for the country?
The first one, which is the key question around which this particular project is built, is on social cohesion, where we are saying what would a socially cohesive South Africa look like and to what degree is it attainable in 2030. But the specific questions around the key drivers, which are institutional and leadership capacity, social inequality, resistance and resentment, and the reconciliation, those are the ones that we are looking annually at how people are changing their perceptions and how institutions are performing, as well as the economy and so forth.
Yeah.
So you do have a barometer as well as an economic modeling, which looks annually at how we are drifting towards this or that particular scenario.
Yes. All right. Now, what can we expect from the latest results of this National Barometer, because you are releasing those findings or those results today?
What you can expect, which was not there in the previous years, is that we drill down in actually tracking these particular indicators provincially to see which provinces are reacting in which way. And also it can tell us the latest in terms of all these hard trends of how institutional capacity and leadership is perceived to be performing, how economic indicators are performing, and what would take us into different scenarios if certain sets of things would be changed. But what is quite obvious and consistent from previous results and current results is that inequality is probably one biggest key driver in the country that is shaping many things.
Yeah. You describe COVID-19, Prof, in your media alert about the release of these results. You describe COVID-19 as a black swan that's engulfed the country. How big will the impact be, do you think?
We do not yet know the full extent of the impact, but it is expected to be massive and profound, and it is expected to shake everything that we have known. But it can also provide an opportunity for the country to press a reset button and do things differently. Remember that it's not only South Africa, but the entire global system is set to change. And some scholars are even beginning to talk of deglobalization. So for that reason, many countries have used a crisis in order to reset themselves into a path of development, into a path of inclusive growth.
Final question to you, Prof. You also speak about in that media release that you've sent out, you speak of a term, social unrest. Now, the mere mention of the term social unrest is likely to push investors away. My question to you is, how real a threat is this, first of all, and how different will it be from what we have become accustomed to in terms of service delivery protests?
It is already a reality. Remember that South Africa is often branded as a protest capital by some. And we do have the blockage of streets by protesters. Sometimes this is competing already with traffic and weather report. So to that extent, if we remain where we are, this would continue and even worsen with the worsening economic conditions. But it could also be a driver for both government, the private sector, the civil society to seek a social compact that would take us away from this, because these are choking the country, and indeed, if they continue unattended, they could also drive away investors, and it is to the mutual benefit of all the role players to deal with the underlying problems so that you see less and less of these challenges.
Prof, I must thank you very much for your time, and again, sincere apologies for those earlier glitches.